The rights of migrant workers in Hong Kong have come into the spotlight following recent cases of abuse against Indonesian domestic helpers. I'm Deborah Kahn. Joining me now is Tom Grundy from HK Helpers Campaign. Hi, Tom. Good to see you. So let's start with the case of Ariana. She was a domestic helper here in Hong Kong who is now in hospital in Indonesia, suffering from terrible abuse. Tell us more about her case.
Well, the Friday before last, she escaped what she said was 8 months of terrible abuse at the hands of an employer in the New Territories in Hong Kong. She came over here through Chan Recruitment Agency and apparently was beaten every day. She was not paid, blows to the head and burns all over her body, and a wound from an allergy which was exacerbated by the employer. She wasn't allowed to sleep and not given much food either. When she could barely walk, she was allowed to the airport, and she escaped to her hometown in Java, seemingly not stopped by the authorities or immigration here.
Okay, so how common, I mean, this is one case, but how common is abuse against domestic helpers in Hong Kong?
Well, this case is quite extreme. There was another one a few months ago, a woman called Kartika, who was similarly tortured by her employer. But we believe it's the tip of an iceberg. NGOs say that 58% of domestic helpers in Hong Kong are abused in some way, physically, sexually, or verbally. So through our campaign points, we're hoping to enact some change.
Okay, 58%, that's a very high percentage, obviously. So what is it, I mean, are the laws in place to protect domestic helpers?
Well, they're years behind, and they've come under criticism from international bodies, the ILO, the UN, Oxfam, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty, quite recently in a big report. We've got 3 campaign points which deal with the 2-week rule, which states that domestic helpers, no matter how they lose their employment, have to leave the territory after 2 weeks. So that puts pressure on them to remain in abusive situations. Similarly, the live-in rule, which we've put under that, where they have to actually live with their employer, so they're on call 24/7 quite often. Which brings to the second point about maximum working hours. There is no legislation for anyone in Hong Kong. It's in the works, but it seems helpers may be excluded. And thirdly, there's the pressure of illegal agency fees, which we're also trying to tackle, whereby the agencies in Indonesia, the home countries, and in Hong Kong collude with moneylenders here to shackle domestic helpers for months in debt, and they often work for nothing for up to 8 months when they first come over here.
Okay, and I guess it's important to point out that a lot of people in Hong Kong are very reliant on domestic helpers in order to work, and there's quite a high number here.
Yeah, there's around 300,000, and we believe they are the engine of Hong Kong's economy. They came over in the 70s. It's very affordable. The minimum wage is 4,010 Hong Kong dollars. But we believe they are the backbone of the middle class here. It's enabled people to afford the high rents and to have double income households. I think quite often they're treated as second-class citizens, and this situation and the abuse is enabled by local laws and some of these key players.
Okay, thanks very much, Tom Grundy. For more on that story, you can go to WSJ.com. I'm Deborah Kahn.